Make sure phones are on mute too. Quick shot. Kazaki, State Registry.
Bung Kazakia, Bung Yahawada, Bung Yasharala.
Kazakia, Bun Yahawada, Bun Yashal.
Yahweh Shim Yasharakata.
I'm not here first. Then Barak.
Barak, Beyond Yahweh Shim Yasharakata.
Yahweh Shim Yahweh Barakatah. Facing movements. Grab with your right. At your right, put into your left hand to lock it. And what you'll do is put your right hand over your chest and you're going to extend. You're going to sound Christ and you're going to say, La Yashala.
La Yashala.
La Yashala. And drink the wine. All of it. All right. Turn back. And the water. It's back. Al-Madyu, which means to stand. Wapanya Hakwadam, and face the east. East is going to be this way for us. The first thing we're going to do is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Also, anyone in the Sabbath service, just put your name, city, and state. All right, so you can be marked down for attendance. And of course, shalom to the brothers and shalom to the sisters. All right, we're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Ayah. Yakah. Yahweh. Malakuka. Daba'a. Matazaka. Ayah. Aisha. Barataza. Kabah. Ayah. Yashamayim. Nasabanawa. Lakam. Kal. Yawam. Masalakanawa. Kamawaknawa. Kasalaknawa. Kamawaknawa. Wala'ah. Wiya'ah Nawa. Anasayawan. A ball.
Babo.
Awashai Nawa.
Narashayana.
Ma. It's like it. Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rak.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Awak.
Waha'ala.
Al-Al.
Watapara.
Wapadaram.
La Awalamyam.
La Abraham.
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, our Father,
Our Father.
which art in heaven,
Which art in heaven.
hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom
Thy
come.
will be done
Thy will be
in
done.
earth
In earth.
as it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this
our
day
daily bread.
our daily
And
bread.
forgive us our debts
And forgive us our
as
debts.
we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
And lead us not
into temptation,
into
but
temptation.
deliver us
But deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the
and the
kingdom.
power,
And the power.
and the glory,
And the glory.
forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
We're going to get Hakak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Ba'ashim Yahushua,
Bashim Yahushua.
Babakusha,
Barakashah.
Nathanawa,
Bantania.
Lakam,
Lakam.
Salaki, the Nathanawa,
Dantana.
Hakak,
Akak.
Hakak,
Akak.
Lavapa'a,
Lavapa'a.
Kalmakala,
Kamagala.
Kalmarawa,
Kamala.
Hakak,
Akak.
Latahar,
Latahar.
Kamatazarayim,
Amazuraya.
Hakak,
Akak.
Lahakuyam,
Lahaki.
Amathiam,
Amati.
Hakak,
Lakak.
Arakawa,
Awakawa.
Atama'ala,
Altala.
Lagarshan,
Lagorashan.
Ba'ashim Yahushua,
Bashim Yahushua.
Sawadaman.
Tawaraman.
In the English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Please give us the power.
Give us the
The
power.
power to heal
The power to heal.
all manner of sickness
All manner of
and
sickness.
all manner of disease.
All manner of
The
disease.
power to cleanse the leprous.
The power to cleanse the
The
leper.
power to raise the
The
dead.
power to raise the
The
dead.
power against unclean
The
spirits.
power against unclean
To
spirits.
cast them out.
To cast them
In
out.
the name of
In
Yahushua.
the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha.
Ayanya.
Ayana.
Ahoyam.
Awahayim.
Ma'ayan.
Bayan.
Yaba'ah.
Laba'a.
Isaiah.
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 Ma'ayin.
Ma'ayin.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Asha.
Shemayim.
Shemayim.
Ya'aratasa.
Laratada.
Al Yatan.
Ayatan.
Lamawat.
Lawat.
Galka.
Bagaka.
Al Yanawam.
Ayawam.
Shemorka.
Shemorka.
Bana.
Bana.
La'a.
La'a.
Yanawam.
Lahum.
Wala'a.
Olawat.
Yakashan.
Yigasham.
Shemamor.
Soromor.
Yasha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shemorka.
Shemorka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Azalka.
Azalka.
Al-Yad.
Ariyah.
Yamyanka.
Yanyoka.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashemash.
Ashama.
La'a.
La'a.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Vayarak.
Barak.
Valayala.
Lalala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashemorka.
Yashemorka.
Yaparai.
Parai.
Yashemor.
Yashemor.
Atnapaska.
Atnapasha.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashemor.
Yashemor.
Tazaaka.
Salabaka.
Wabawaaka.
Salabaka.
Maika.
Laita.
Wahai.
Yahai.
Awalam.
Awalam.
Aman. In
Aman.
the English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills,
I will lift up my eyes to the
from
hills,
which cometh my help.
from which cometh my help.
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help comes from
who
Yahweh,
made heaven and earth.
between heaven and
He
earth.
will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
that keepeth thee
He that keepeth
will
thee
not slumber.
do not slumber.
Will not slumber.
Will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth thee,
he that keepeth thee,
like it. He that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth
shall
Israel,
neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber or sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming
From
in.
this time forth,
For this time forth,
even forevermore,
even forevermore,
so be it.
so be it.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Al-Ayim.
Alahayim,
Al-Damaya Laka.
Adamayan Rakah,
Al-Takharash.
Akarash,
Wa'al.
La'al,
Al-Takwat.
Rasakwa,
Al.
Al,
Hayah-Hana.
Hana,
Awayakika.
Ariyakaka,
Yahama Yawan.
Yahaman Yuwan,
Wama Shanayaka.
Borishamayaka,
Nasha'awa.
Yasha'al,
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash,
Al-Aimaka.
Ayaka,
Ya'arayamwa.
Amma,
Sawad.
Sawa,
Wayataya'ai Tazawa.
Walataya Ayatasawa,
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Atasawamika,
Amarwa.
Amora,
Lahawa.
the Kawa,
Wanakakidam.
Warakakidam,
Nagoya.
the Goya,
Wala'a.
Mala'a,
Yazakar.
Ashakar,
From Yasha'ala.
come Yasha,
Iwan.
thy one,
Haya.
Maya,
Nawa'ai Tazawa.
Laya Am Tasawa,
It's like a la.
La,
Yakadwa.
the Kawa,
Awyaka.
Ayaka,
Goya.
Boya,
Yakarafwa.
Yakarata,
Ahoya.
Lahoya,
Alawam.
Alawam,
Wayasama'alayam.
Yayamsu Ayam,
Mawa'aba.
Lara Abba,
Mahagoyam.
Hayagoyam,
Gabal.
the Bo,
Amawan.
Ya Amawan,
Amalak.
Ya Amala,
Alashah.
Yasha,
I'm Yeshabya.
I'm Yeshua.
Hazawar.
Tagawa.
Gum Ashawar.
Gam Ashawa.
Nalawa.
Nawa.
Imam.
Iman.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zabawai.
Zabawai.
Labanya Lawat.
Lebanya Yawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aisha Laham.
Ashalom.
Kamadyan.
Kamanya.
Kasaya Sara'a.
Yashua. Yarasha.
It's like Kasaya
Kazaya.
Sara'a.
Sawa'a.
Kayabyan.
Kanyanya.
Banakau.
Barakau.
Koyashwan.
Kanyashwa.
Nashamadwa.
Nashmashwa.
Ba'ayanda Ara.
Baya Andawa.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Gaman.
Daman.
La Adama. It's like La Adama.
Yaadama.
Shayatamwa.
Shalatama.
Narayamawa.
Yaya Amawa.
Kaira.
Kayawan.
Kaza'aba.
Kazaawa.
Kazabak.
Yaya Kazabak.
Kazazalmanai.
Kayatazamamai.
Oh.
Kau.
Nasiyakamwa.
Nasitikamwa.
Ashar.
Ashor.
Amarwa.
Amawa.
Nayarasha.
Nayashwa.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Ah. Na'awa.
Laawa.
Alahayam.
Hayahawa.
Alahayab.
Hayahawa.
Shayatamba.
Shawatama.
Galgala.
Labakala.
Kagalgala.
Kagagala.
Kwash.
Lakwas.
Lapanyaraka.
Lapaya Lakwas.
Ka'ash.
Kaash.
Saba Ira Ya Ira.
Tawabaya. Tawara you hour.
Kan. Saba Ira Ya Ira.
Tawabaya you hour.
Kalahaba.
Lako hour.
Lahaba.
Lahaba.
Salahat.
Talahat.
Hoyam.
Hoyam.
Khan.
Khan.
Samadama.
Lamadapa.
Basta Ivaka.
Basa Arika.
Baba Sawapaka.
Barasapaka. Barasapaka.
Saba Halam.
Tabahalam.
Mala'a.
Mala'a.
Hanyaham.
Hayo.
Walawan.
Lawan.
Wayabakwashwa.
Level Kwasha.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Wayabahalwa.
Yoba Anyam.
It's like a Wayabahalwa.
Whatever Ayam.
Bahasawa.
Wa.
Ya.
Ya.
Bahal.
Bahal.
What?
What?
So Wayabahalwa.
Yoba Hawa.
Eye to eye.
I
Take it down. Eye, your eye.
your eye.
God. Eye to eye.
Your eye.
Waya kaparwa.
Wara Kapawa.
Waya abadwa.
Wara Kabanga.
Waya the Iowa.
Wara the what?
God, you do what? Waya
Wara
the eye.
the eye.
What?
What?
God, so waya the Iowa.
Wara the Iowa.
There you go. Kaya.
Kaya.
Bata.
Fata.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Labadka.
Labaka.
Ow you one.
Our you one.
God. Ow.
Ah.
Kal.
Ka.
Ha'arataza.
Ha'arataza.
Aman.
Aman.
Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O
For
Yahweh.
lo. For lo.
For lo.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee
And they that hate thee
have lifted up their head.
have lifted up their
They
head.
have taken crafty counsel against thy
They
people.
have taken crafty counsel against thy
And
people.
consulted against thy hidden one.
And consulted against thy hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them
from
off
being a nation.
from being a
That the
nation.
name of Israel
As the name of
may
Israel.
be no more in remembrance.
There be no one remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites,
and the
of
Ishmaelites,
Moab,
the Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and the
the
Hagarenes,
Baal,
the
and
Baal,
Ammon,
and
and
Ammon,
Amalek,
and
the
Amalek,
Philistines,
the
with
Philistines,
the inhabitants of Tyre.
with inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also joined with them.
Ashur also joined with
They
them.
have opened the children of Lot.
They have woven the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah,
do unto them
do unto
as
them,
unto the Midianites,
as to the
as
Midianites,
to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to the bed,
at the brook of Kasad,
at the brook of Kasai,
perished at Endor.
which perished at
Then
Endor,
he came as dung for the earth.
and became as dawn for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb,
Make their nobles like a
and
red,
like Zahab,
like Zed,
yea,
yea,
all their princes,
all the
as
princes,
Zabah,
Zabah,
and as the Muna,
and as the Mullah.
said,
He
let
said,
us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh in possession.
the house of Yahweh as possession.
O my power,
Oh, my
make
power,
them like a wheel,
make them like a
as
wheel,
the stubble before the wind,
and stubble before the
as the
wind,
fire burneth for wood,
and the fire burns the
and
wood,
as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. fire.
And the flame that sets mountains on fire.
Persecute them with thy tempest.
And persecute them with thy tempest.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be
And
confounded.
troubled forever.
And trouble forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may
That
know.
thou.
That thou.
Whose name alone.
Whose name
Is
alone.
Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Art the Most High.
Art the Most High.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
O Yahweh Shai.
Wa Maya Ka'ala.
Yo, Roman Korah.
So like it. Wa Maya Ka'ala.
Wo Maya Korah. Kayal.
Ka'ala.
Ka'ala.
So wa
Wo
ma
ya
ka
Ka'ala.
Ka'ala. There you go. So wa Maya Ka'ala.
Yo Ka'ala.
Wa Alahayim.
Wo Ayum.
Mataz. Sorry, Matazahab Ya'ah.
Mataza Az.
Sorry, that's on me. Matazab Ya'ah.
Mataza.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Ya'ah.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Matazazia.
Alawat Yahana.
Ayawak Yahweh.
Ha Alawatyam.
Ha Awayakum.
Ha Saranyam.
Ha Sawayum.
Ha Kutazayanyam.
Ha Kazawayum.
Ha Kayoyoyam.
Ha Kalayawum.
There you go. Waha Agwapyam.
Wawa Akyum.
Sorry, Agwapyam.
Agwapyum.
There you go. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashim Yahushua.
Bashim Yahushua.
The water Aman.
The water Aman.
In the English, bless you Yahweh.
Bless you Yahweh.
And Yahushua.
And Yahweh.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angel.
Commanding.
Commanded.
General Yahana.
General
The
Yahweh.
generals.
The
The
general.
captains.
The captain.
The officers.
The
The
officer.
troopers.
The trooper.
And the sisters.
And the sister.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Sorry, means return. The Shabbat means to be seated. The Shabbat meaning everybody can be seated. You got your sword up. You're reading the English. You got the scripture on your phone. Just come. Got it. It's a while. Make sure you get it in English. All right, this is the Lord's Sabbath service. We left off on Genesis chapter 2. And we're going to start in the Hebrew, verse 15. So in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, we're going to read in the Hebrew. Make sure you get it in the English. Right, we're going to be starting at verse 15. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15 in the Hebrew. All right. Wayakwak Yahweh Alahayim Ha'adam Wayanak Hawa Bagan Slaki Bagan Aidan La Aibadha Wala Shamorha. Verse 16. Wayatazawa Yahweh Alahayim Al Ha'adam La Amor Makal Aitaza Hagan Akal Ba'akal. Verse 17. Wama Aitaza Hada'ai Tuwa Warai La'a Ba'akal Mamanwa Slaki Mamnawa Kaya Bayawam Akalka Mamnawa Mawap Thamawap. Verse 18. Wayamor Yahweh Alahayim La'a Tuwa Hayawap Ha'adam Labad Slaki Labadwa Aisha Lawa Itazar Kanagadwa. Verse 19. Wayatazar Yahweh Alahayim Man Ha'adama Kal Chaya Hashada. Make sure Hashada Wa'a Kal Iwap Hashemayim Wayaba'a Al Ha'adam Lava'awa Ma Yakara'a Lawa Wakal Ashar Yakara'a Lawa Ha'adam Napash Chaya Hawa'a Shamwa. Verse 20. Wayakara'a Ha'adam Shamwa Lakal Habahama Wala Iwap Hashemayim Walakal Chaya Hashada Wala Adam Na'a Mataza'a Mataza'a, Itazar, Kanagadwa. Verse 21. When you fall Yahweh Alahayim, Dara'ama, Daradama, Daradama, Al, Ha'adam, Waya Kwak, Akaf, Akaf, Matazala, Salakia, Matazala Ait, Yawa, Waya Wasapar, Bashar, the Kaf Naha. All right, go ahead and read 21 book, Bashar.
Come. Genesis 2, chapter 15. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. 16. And the Lord God Yahweh commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. Verse 17. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Verse 18. And the Lord Yahweh said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. Verse 19. And out of the ground, Lord Yahweh formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air.
You can also read the Lord God for this. Yeah, just read as is just for the Sabbath service.
And brought them into Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him. Verse 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Most on Christ the water. Verse 22 in the Hebrew. Wayaban Yahweh Alahayim Af Hatazalai Ashar Laquak Man Ha'adam La Asha Wayaba'a Al Ha'adam. Verse 23. Waya Amor Ha'adam Za'ah Hapat Hapaim Hapam Itism Ma Itism Ya Ma Itism Ya Wa Bashar Ma Bashar Ya Laza'a Yakara'a Asha Kaya Ma Ayash Laquaka Za'a. Verse 24. Al Khan Ya Itizab Ayash Abayawa Wa Amwa Wadabak Ba Ashafwa Wahaya Wahayawa Labash Labashar Akkad. Verse 25. Wayahayawa Shanaham Ira Wamyam Adam La Ashafwa Wala'a Yada Shashwa Yada Bashashwa. All right, you can just finish it out from there.
Genesis 2:22. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. Verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Verse 25. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed.
Most High in Christ. We're going to get Genesis chapter 3. So now we're in Genesis chapter 3, and we're going to read in the Hebrew. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Wanakash, Wahanakash, Haya, Irawam, Makal, Chaya, Hashada, Ashar, Aisha, Yahweh, Alahayim, Waya Amor, Al, Ha'ayat, Asha, Kaya Amora Alahayim La'a, the Akal wa Makal, Aitiza, Hagan. Verse 2. Whether Amora wa Asha Al Hanakash, Maporia Aitiza Hagan, not Akal. Verse 3. Wa Maporia Ha'aitiza, Ashar, but that's like a Badawaka, it's like a Bafwaka, Hagan, Amor Alahayim La'a, the Akal Mamnawa Wala'a, the guy Bawa Pan the Mafwan. Verse 4. Waya Amor Hanakash Al Ha'asha La'a Mawa the like the Mafwan. Verse 5. Kaya Yadai Alahayim Kaya Bayawam Akal come Mafnawa one of pack like one of Pakwakwa Ayan Yukam Wawa like I said Wahaya Ya like Wahaya Yahma, that might be your thumb like it Wahaya your thumb Ka Alahayim Yadaya Tawab Warai. Verse 6. What the Ra'ah Ha'asha Kaya Tawab Ha'aitiza La Amakal Wa Kaya Ta'awa Hawa La Ayat like Wala Ayanyam Wana Kamor like Wana Kamad Ha'aitiza La Hashakalia like La Shakayal what the Quack Mapoyawa what the Akal what Thapna like what the Thun Gam La Ayasha Aima Waya Akal. Verse 7. What the Pak Nawa like it what the Pakwak Naha let me see Ayanya Shunyaham Waya Daiwa Kaya Ayarumma Ham Waya Par like Waya the Parwa Ayla the Anan like it the An Kan the Anha. Like that was verse 7. 1 second. The like it the Ana what like it the Anha Waya Aisha wa Laham Hana Gora.
Genesis 3, chapter 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yes, have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. Verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. Verse 5. For God doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as God, knowing good and evil. Verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took off the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Verse 7. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons.
God. Wow. All right, Genesis chapter 3, verse 8 in the Hebrew. Waya Shemai Wa'ah Kawal Yahweh Alahayim Mata Halak Bagan Larawak Haya it's like a Hayawam Waya it's like a Waya the Kab it's like it Waya the Kaba'ah it's like Waya the Kaba'ah Ha Adam Wa Ashafwa Mapanya Yahweh Alahayim Bathawak Aitiza Hagan. Verse 9. Waya Kara'a Yahweh Alahayim Al Adama Waya Amar Lawa Ayaka Verse 10, where your Amor, Av, Kolak, Shemai, Feya, Bagan, wa Ayara'a, Kaya, Ayorma, Anakia, wa Akhaba'a. Verse 11, where your Amor, Maya, Hagaya, Laka, Kaya, Ayaram, Atha, Atha, it's actually Atha, Atha, Haman, Ha'aitiza, Ashar, Tazawaya, Tazawaya, Yaka, Labalafya, Akal, Mamnawa, Akala. Verse 12. Waya Amar Ha'adam, Ha'asha, Ashar, Nathaf, Nathafa, Aiman, Aimadya, Hawa, Nathan, Nathanha, Laya, Man, Ha'aitiza, wa Akal. Verse 13, where Amar Yahweh Alahayim La Asha, Ma, Za'at, Aishaya, wa the Amar, Ha Ashar, Hanakash, Haya, Hashaya, Naya, wa Akal. Verse 14, where Amar Yahweh Alahayim Al, Hanakash, Kaya, Aishaya, Za'at, our war, Atha, Atha Makal, Haba Hama, Haba Hama, wa Makal, Khayat, Hashada Al, Gakhan, Gakhan, Ka, Balak, Ha'ipar, what Ipar, the Akal, Kal, Yamaya, Khayayaka.
Genesis 3, chapter 8. And they heard the voice of the Lord, God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. Verse 9. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? Verse 10. And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and he hid myself. Verse 11, and he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? Verse 12, and the man said, The man whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Verse 13, and the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Verse 14, and the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon the belly shalt thou go, and the dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Verse 15.
We're going to get Genesis chapter 3, verse 15 in the Hebrew. Wa'ayaba, Ashya, Bayanka, Wabayan, Ha'asha, Wabayan, Zarai, Zarai, Wabayan, Zarai, Zariah, Hawa'a, Zara, Yashawak. That should be Shawapa. Nah, it is Shawaka. Shawaka, Ra'ash, Wa'atha. Let me see. The Shawaknawa, I verse 16. Al Asha Amor Haraba, I Tazab when Nawa. It's like it. I Tazab one. It's like it. One Naka. No, it's one Khan. I Tazab one Ka. Hawaran Ka. Ba Aitazab. Thalakia. Banayam. Wa'al. Ayashka. The Shawakwatwa. Hawa'a, wa ya mashal, baka. Verse 17, wala Adam, Amor, Kaya, Shemai, La Kawal, Ashatka, whether a call, Man, Ha'aitiza, Ashar, Tazawayafyaka, La Amor, La the Akal, Mamnawa, our war, it's like it, our Wara, Ha ba I war ka, it's like a ba I war ka, ba I tazabwan, a call naha, call, it's like a yamaya, khaya yaka. Verse 18, it's like it, what taza, what a raw, it's like it, the rod, davador, kan, what davador, the itazam, ya, laka, wa akala, af, aishab, hashada, verse 19, baza'if, up yaka, the akal, lacham, I, shawab ka, all, ha adama kaya, mamnaha, la kwak, like it, la kwak, la kukak, like it, kaya, I par, asa, wa all, I par, the shawab, verse 20, where you cover ha adam, sham, ashafwa, hawa, kaya, hawa, hayasa, am, kal, kaya, verse 21, where ya aisha, yahawa, alahayim, la adam, wala ashafwa, Kathanwa, I wore, waya, it's like waya la bash, it's like a labash, waya labashma. Let's see, I'm just going to finish it out. I'm going to continue to verse 22. Verse 22, waya amar Yahweh alahayim, Khan ha'adam, haya, ka'achad, mamnawa, la da'ai, tawab, what were I, or say what were I da, pan, la shalak, yadwa, wala kwak, gam, ma'aitiza, ha khayayam, wa akal, wa khaya, la alma, verse 23, waya shalak hawa, Yahweh alahayam, magan, it's like a aidan, la ibad, adama ashar, la kwak, mashah. Verse 24, waya garash, adam, waya shakan, makwadam, lagan, it's like it, aidan, ha cover bayim. Yeah, that's right. Ha cover bayim, wa lahat, ha karab, hama, it's like a hamatha pakah, it's like it. Hamatha, that should be hapak, kan. Hapak, habaka, lashamor, the rock, aitiza, ha chayayim. Go ahead and finish it out.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Verse 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice, like thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree, of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and in sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Verse 18. Thorns also and thistles shall bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. Verse 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it waste thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. Verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Verse 21. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothed them, lucky. Verse 22. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. Verse 23. Therefore the Lord sent forth the garden to till the ground from whence he was taken. Verse 24. He drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, and turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
All right, we're going to get Genesis chapter 4. So now we're in Genesis chapter 4 in the Hebrew. Wa Adam Yadai Hawa Ashafwa the Har what the Lak Koyan the Amor. It's like a weather Amor when the Yahya Ashash. It's like an Ayash Ab Yahweh. Verse 2. What the Ait Laladah Akiwa Hakor. It's like a Habal Wayahayab Habal it's like a Raya Tazaan Wakorayan. It's like a Wakoyan Khaya. It's like a Haya Ibad, it's like an Adama, verse 3, Wayahaya, Mapataza, Yum, Wayaba'a, Koyan, Mapoya, Adama, Manaka, it's like a La Yahweh, verse 4, Wahabal, Habaya'a, it's like a Wahabal, Habaya'a, Gam, Hawa'a, Mabakar, Mabakarwa, Taza'a Nava, Wamakal, it's like it, Wakalab, Wamakala, Hawa, Waya, it's like it, Wayashai, Yahawa, all, Habal, wa all, Manakafwa, verse 5, wa all, Koyan, wa all, Manakafwa, La'a, Sha'aya, Waya Kor, Lakoyan, Ahmad, like it, yeah, Ma'ad, Waya Palwa, Panyawa, verse 6, Waya Moya, Hawa Al Koyan, Lama, Kara, Lakau, Walama, Napalwa, Panyaka, verse 7, Halawa'a, Thaya Tayab, like it, Thaya Tayab, Sha'af, Wa'am, Na'ad, Thaya Tayab, Lapak, like it, Lapasak, Khata'at, Rabatiza, Wa'alika, Tashawak, Thawa, we quaff, what, kind, like it, the Shawakwa, Wa'atha, Wa'atha, the Mashal of the what? Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve was Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Verse 2. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Verse 3. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the fruit firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respected unto Abel and to his offering. Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wrath, very wroth, and his countenance fell. Verse 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? Verse 7. If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desires, and thou shalt rule over him.
All right, we're going to continue. Next Sabbath service, we're going to go from Genesis chapter 4 and down, and also stay tuned in that Lashma Kodash class, because we're going to be going over the scriptures that we go over in the Sabbath service. So with that, Amajim, which means to stand, just us up here. I explained this as well, the truth or call. The reason why, the first things first. You see how I grabbed that cup first, right? Because at the end of the Sabbath service, there may be a different brother here. So now I grab this cup to my left to be able to give to the brother, all right? That's what we do, all right? Grab with your right or your left, not grab with your left. All right, turn. Extend your hand, right hand over you, like that, and la yashal.
Yup.
La yashal.
Ya Yashua.
La yashal. Now drink the wine, all of it. That's not correct. Amadyum, which means to stand. That means everyone can now stand. But Panyahak Wadam, and face the east. The east will be this way for us. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew, Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Kankah.
Kankah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakaka.
Malakaka.
Taba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Batazaka.
Abzal.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Asha.
Ba'arataza.
Harataza.
Kawah.
Gawah.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Nathanawa.
Anatanya.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kaw.
Kam.
Yavam.
Yabam.
Masalaknawa.
Masalakia.
Kabawafnawa.
Kamawafna.
Masalaknawa.
And Sawatna.
Kabawafnawa.
Kamawafna.
Mala'ah.
Lo'ah.
Kabaya'anawa.
Dabara'abna.
Banasayawan.
So I said one.
A ball.
A ball.
Abashaynawa.
Abashayna.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Right.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Malakwa.
Al-Makwa.
Waha'ala.
Al.
Wahata'afara.
Habapara.
La awalamyam.
La Awyam.
Aman.
Aman.
Our Father, in the English, our Father,
Our Father,
who art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy
Thy
name.
kingdom come.
Thy kingdom
Thy
come.
will be done
Thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily
and
bread,
forgive us our debts
and forgive us for our
as
debts,
we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our
And
debtors,
lead us not
and lead us not
into temptation,
into
but
temptation,
deliver us
but deliver
from
us
evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the
and
power,
the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Hakak the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashim Yahweh,
Bashim Yahusha,
Babukosha,
Barakasha,
Nathanawa,
Nathanael,
Hakak,
Baka,
Hakak,
Haka,
Lamapa'ah,
Lamapaa,
Kal Makala,
Pa Makala,
Wakal Malawa,
Waka Malawa,
Hakak,
Haka,
Latahor,
Latahor,
Hamatazariah.
how might survive?
There you go. Hakak,
Haka,
Lahakriyam,
Lahakriyam,
Amathiyam,
Amathiam,
Hakak,
Laka,
Al-Rakawa,
Al-Wakawa,
Hatama Allah,
Hatama Allah,
Lagarshan,
Lagawashan,
Ba'ashim Yahweh,
Bashim Yahusha,
the water Aman.
the water Aman,
In the English, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of
in
Yahweh,
the name of Yahusha,
please
please
give us the power
give us the power
to heal
to heal
all manner of sickness
all manner of sickness
and all manner of disease,
and all manner of disease,
The power to cleanse the leprous.
The power to cleanse the leper.
The power to raise the
The
dead.
power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean
The
spirits.
power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them
In
out.
the name of
In the
Yahushua.
name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha'ah.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
All Aharyam.
All Hawarim.
Ma'ayan.
Ayam.
Yaba'ah.
Laba'ah.
Isaiah.
Azora.
Isaiah.
Izora.
Ma'ain.
Ma'ayin.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Asha.
Shemayim.
Shemayim.
Wa Arataza.
Wa Arataza.
Al Yathan.
Ayawatam.
Lamawat.
Namawat.
Ragalka.
Regalka.
Al Yanawam.
Ayawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Hana.
Hana.
La'a.
La'a.
Yanawam.
Yaram.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yayashun.
Yayasham.
Shawamar.
Shawamor.
Yashar Allah.
Yashar Allah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazalka.
Al Yad.
Ayuka.
Yamyanka.
Yamyaka.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashamash.
Hashamat.
La'a.
La'a.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayarak.
Yarak.
Balayala.
Balayuwa.
Yala.
Yala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Makal Rai.
Ayakam Rai.
Like it. Makal Rai.
Makal Rai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Napashka.
Napaska.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Haza'aka.
Haza'aka.
Wawa'aka.
Bo'aka.
Ma'aita.
Ma'awata.
Ma'aita.
Ma'ata.
Wa'ai.
Ra'ain.
I will love.
Ayaram.
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes to the
From
hills.
which cometh my help?
From which cometh my
My
help?
help cometh from Yahweh.
My help cometh from
Which
Yahweh,
made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
And the sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming
From
in.
this time forth
From this time forth
and even forevermore,
and even forevermore,
so be it.
so be it.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Al damaya laka.
Ayadam yaka.
Kan. Al
Al
damaya
damayam
laka.
laka.
Al takorash.
Al takarash.
Wa al tashakwat.
La al tarakrash.
Tashakwat.
Tashakwa.
Al.
Al.
Kayahana.
Hayawana.
Kan. Kayahana.
Kana yaha. Kayam
Kayahana.
hana.
Awayab yaka.
Ayayam kaka.
You take time. Awayab
Arayab
yaka.
yaka.
Yahama yawan.
Yahama yuwan.
Wama shanayaka.
Wama shanayaka.
Nasha awa.
Nasa arawa.
Ra'ash.
La'ash.
Al aimaka.
Ayamak ayaka.
Kan. Al aimaka.
Amyaka.
There you go. Ya ira yamwa.
Ya ayawanta.
You what now? Take your time, man. Just listen and take your time. You what? Ya ira yamwa.
Yam ayawam.
Kan. Ya
Ya
I
ra
yum
yam
wa.
wa.
So ya ira yamwa.
Yam ayawamra.
There you go. Kan. When it comes to the Hebrew, by the way, it's not like reading in the English. You have to pronounce each individual letter. That's why I remember in class I always say that alphabet is fundamental. So just slow it down. Sawad.
Sawa.
Wayata ya'ai tazawa.
Wayataya aytazawa.
That's literally the hardest word in this entire prayer. Just to let you know. That's exactly how you say it. So with all of it as well, take that same concept, all right? Kan al tazapawanyaka.
Aytazawanyaka.
Amorwa.
Amara.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakidam.
Wayakakadam.
Magoya.
Magoya.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yasha'ala.
Sham Yasha'ala.
Aiwa,
Aiwa.
Kaya,
Kaya.
Nawa Ai Tazawa,
Yama Aitazawa.
La,
La.
Yakadwa,
Yakabwa.
Aljaka,
Aizika.
Barya,
Boya.
Yakaratwa,
Yakarata.
Ahoya,
Ahoya.
Adawam,
Alawam.
Boy Yashama Ailaya.
Wa Asham Ayama.
There you go. Mawa Abba,
Mara Abba.
Wa Agoya,
Wa Agarium.
Gabal,
Gabo.
Wa Aimawan,
Wa Amayan.
Wa Aimalak,
Wa Amala.
Halasha,
Hayasha.
Am Yashabya,
I Yashanya.
Hazawar,
Tazawar.
Gum Ashawar,
Gum Ashawa.
Nalawa,
Mara.
Imam,
Aman.
Hajawa,
Yahar.
it's like a Hajawa,
Yahario.
Zawawai,
Zabarai.
Labanya Lawat,
Lebanya Yawat.
Salah,
Salah.
Aisha Laham,
Aishalahim.
Kamadyan,
Kamaya.
Kasiya,
Kasiya.
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah.
Kayabyan,
Kamyanya.
Banakal,
Barahai.
Wayashwan,
Kambashwa.
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa.
by Ayan,
By Ayam.
Da'ara,
Dara'a.
Hayawa,
Hayawa.
Daman,
Daman.
La Adama,
La Adamwa.
Shayatamwa,
Shamatangwa.
Narayab Mawa,
Like Nayarat Yawam.
Ka'ira,
Kab Arai.
Wakaza'aba,
Wakaza Abba.
Wakazabak,
Wakaza Ba.
Wakazazal Manai,
Wakaza Zayamai.
Kal,
Cow.
Nasiyakamwa,
Nasser Kamwa.
Ashar,
Ashor.
Amorwa,
Amara.
Nayavasha,
Noah Shah.
Lanawa,
Lanawa.
Ah, Na'awa,
Na'awa.
Alahayam,
Ayahayim.
Alahaya,
Ayaham.
Shayatamwa,
Shamatangwa.
Kagalgala,
Kagalgala.
Kakwash,
Kakwas.
Lapanya Raka,
Lapanya Kawak. Yapanya Kawak.
yeah, Raka,
Waka.
there you go, Ka'ash,
Ka'ash.
Taba Ira, Ya'ira,
Tamwe Awa. Ya'awam.
Wakalahaba,
Wakala Ara.
Talahat,
Talahat.
Hoyam,
Hayam.
Khan,
Khan.
Taradama,
Kawatangwa.
Basa Iwaka,
Basam Araka.
Baba Sabapaka,
Raba Sabaka.
Daba Halam,
Dabahalam.
Mala'a,
Mara'a.
Hanyaham,
Hayam.
Palawan,
Tarayan.
Wayabakwashwa,
Rabakashwa.
Shamka,
Shamka.
Yahawa,
Yahweh.
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa.
Wayabahalwa,
Yawabahabwa.
there you go, Ai,
Aya Ai.
Wayakaporwa,
Wawakapawa.
Wayabadwa,
Wawakapanya.
Wayadaiwa,
Wawakanya.
Kaya,
Kaya.
Ata,
Atam.
Shamka,
Shamka.
Yahawa,
Yahweh.
Tabarka,
The Barka.
Ow,
How?
Yawan,
The one.
Ow,
Ow.
How,
Come.
Arataza,
Harataza.
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace.
and be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
Below,
Below.
thine enemies make a tumult,
Our enemies make a tumult.
and they that hate thee
And they that hate thee
have lifted up their head.
have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy
and
people.
consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden
They
ones.
have said,
They have said,
Come,
come,
and let us cut them
and
off
let us cut them
from
off
being a nation.
from being a
That the
nation.
name of
That
Israel
the name of
may
Israel
be no more in remembrance.
be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites,
and the
of
Ishmaelites
Moab,
of Moab
and the Hagarenes,
and the
the
Hagarenes,
Gaul,
the Gaul,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and
the
Amalek,
Philistines,
the
with
Philistines,
the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Ashur also is joined with
They
them.
have opened the children of Lot.
They have opened the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salam,
do unto them
do unto them,
as unto the Midianites,
as to the
as
Midianites,
to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabez,
as to the
at
Benjamin,
the brook of Kasai,
at the brook of Kasai,
with prayers that endure.
with parents and all.
They became as dung for the earth.
They came as dumb as an earth,
Make the nobles like Orez,
make the nobles like a earth,
and like Zed.
and like the sand.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes,
all the princes,
as Zabah,
as the law,
and as Zamuna,
as the Mullah,
who say,
who
Let
said,
us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the house of Yahweh in possession.
the house of Yahweh in
O
possession.
my power,
all my power.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a
As
wheel.
the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before
As
the
the
wind.
fire burneth for wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
As the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy
Fill
storm.
their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And trouble forever.
And trouble forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know
That men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone,
whose name
is
alone,
Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
not the Most High,
not the Most High,
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Maya Ka'ala.
Wa Maya Ka'ala.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Ayaram.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Matazat Ya'ah.
Alawak Yahana.
Ayawak Yahana.
Ha Alawakyam.
Ha Ayawakam.
Ha Saranyam.
Asaranyam.
Ha Kotazayanyam.
Ha Kwatazayanyam.
Ha Kayayoyam.
Ha Kwatazayanyam.
Wa Ha'akwakyan.
Wa Awakam.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Wa Hashem Yahweh Shai.
By Hashem Yahweh Shai.
The water Aman.
The water Aman.
In the English, bless you Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding.
Commanding.
General Yahana.
General
The
Yahana.
generals.
The
The
general.
captains.
The
The
captain.
officers.
The
The
officers.
troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh. In
Yahweh.
the name of Yahweh
In
Shai.
the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
The prayer of the prayer of the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed is you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and
and
earth,
all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh. In
Yahweh.
the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh
Listen
Shai.
to us now.
This is to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
The evils of curses
And punishment and destruction.
and punishment and
To the
destruction
heathen
to the heathen
that speak against us.
that speak against
Thy
us.
prophets,
Thy prophets,
teachers,
thy teachers,
princes,
thy
the
princes,
priests,
the
the
priests,
Israelite brothers,
the Israelite
and
brothers,
the school.
and the
Send
truth.
evils and curses.
The evils of curses
And punishment and destruction.
and punishment and
To
destruction
the heathen.
to the heathen,
And shake loose the treasure
and shake loose the treasure
of the rich of Israel.
of the rich of
That
Israel,
refuse to give to the school.
and refuse to get to the school,
Force their riches
force their riches,
to enter thy sanctuary.
to enter thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
The evils of curses
And punishment and destruction.
and punishment and
To the
destruction
Edomites.
to the Edomites
And the nations.
and the
And
nation
their drug dealers.
and the drug
The
dealers,
court
the
system.
court
The
system,
prison
the
system.
prison system,
Planned Parenthood.
Planned
All
Parenthood,
the governments of our enemies.
and the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies.
and like the synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church,
Pope.
the Pope,
Islam.
Islam,
Christianity.
Christianity,
Egyptology.
Egyptology,
Militia.
militia,
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation,
Skinheads.
skinheads,
Pasakamatazi.
Paracomitazi,
The gay movement.
the gay
The
movement,
lesbian
the
movement.
lesbian movement,
Spies.
the spies,
Workers of
the
witchcraft.
workers of witchcraft,
Master Space Program.
the Master Space Program,
Army.
Army,
Navy.
Navy,
Air Force.
Air Force,
Marines.
Marines,
Wall Street.
Wall Street,
Open up the internet.
open up the internet,
And the airwaves.
and the airways,
Cable access
the
channels.
cable access
And
channel,
the radio
and the
channels.
radio channel.
Convict the spirit.
Convict the spirit
Any of that people
within of our
that
people
seek to stop us.
that seek to stop
And
us
bring swift
and
destruction
bring forth
to all
destruction
the heathen
from all the
that
heathen
stand in the way
that stand in the way
or try to stop us
or try to stop us
from broadcasting your word
from broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues,
Cause them to go to and fro
cause them to go to and
through
from
the earth
through the earth
and consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plague
Let the plague
take the house of the thief
shake the house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the
Like
murderer.
Yahweh Shai,
They are Hashai,
Michael and Gabriel,
Michael
come
Gabriel,
down with the flying
come
saucers
down with the flying
and
sword
punish all the heathen
and put all the heathen
that come up against us
that come up against
as
us
we speak thy
as
word.
we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known
Cause it to be
to
known
all
that
that
all
it's the angels that have done it.
that is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread
Cause it to be
through
spread
the media
through the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them
Cause
to
them
shake at thy coming.
to shake up that
In the
coming.
name of Yahweh
In
Shai,
the name of Yahweh Shai,
thank you always.
thank you all,
So be it.
so be it.
Is blessed Israel in Hebrew Yahweh.
Yahweh,
Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai,
Barak Benawa.
Ba'hasanawa,
Boy Yasha Allah.
Word Asherah,
Baha.
Baha,
Baya.
Baya,
Saparium.
Shekorim,
Saparium.
Supreme,
Barak.
Barak,
Papa.
Lavan,
Magun.
Lagan,
Magun.
Agan,
Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai,
What Aman.
the water Amen.
Just me. What we just said in the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Bless us and Israel in the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahweh Shai. Thank you, so be it. Sar, which means to turn. Yeshabian for the sisters only. The sisters can now be seated. Men of Israel, we're going to give a great salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Ahmadi Shabbat, Ahmadi, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Bakatam, Yana Matah, Saw, Wafian, turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give a great salute, Slakia, Ahmadian for the sisters. The sisters can now stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give a great salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Ahmadi Shabbat, Ahmadi, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatan Ba'ashem Yahushua. Yan Matah. With that, dismissed.